There's a lot of farriers out there, and some are self-taught, and they may not have the experience or the knowledge to deal with a corrective problem, or a problem that needs corrected, like founder or laminitis, major hoof cracks, and a lot of them aren't trained properly, and there's no certification that you need in the United States to be a farrier.
Some people do a good job of just trimming the feet, but they don't do so good a job when you have a corrective job to do. So that's kind of important. So I can pick out a farrier that says he's really good at just keeping your horse's feet trimmed, but if you have a major problem, we need to go get somebody that really knows what they're doing. I try to do this. I try to take my radiographs and then invite the farrier to come to look at them with me. That's what's good about Dale. He'll come and we'll sit down and look at them together. The problem is if you get somebody that's has an attitude about working with the veterinarian because they think the veterinarian thinks they know more about feet than they do, that never works right. It's not that I know more than Dale does about how to trim that laminated horse, but the two of us together ought to come up with a better solution than either one of us apart. So, but the farrier has to be able to work with the veterinarian. And by the way, the veterinarian has to be able to work with the farrier. So that goes both ways.
The very honest truth is, you go to, and I have never been to farrier school, but if you go to farrier school, all you're going to be working on is a foot, primarily. And so, you go to veterinary school, you know, you're on a horse, you're on a cow, you're on the whole 9 yards. So you don't spend however long it was just on a foot. Well, I think the worst thing you can do is alienate them. And I think the worst thing they can do is alienate too, you know, and say, I can fix this by myself.
You know, I as a veterinarian take the radiographs, and Beth and I sit down and we go over the radiographs and make a plan for the horse, and then continue to monitor the horse. Either I was out checking him or Beth was checking on him and re-radiographing if we felt that we needed to do so, and just staying in touch with the owner.
Oh, it has been so helpful having them working on the horse together and seeing the x-rays, seeing what the horse walks away with later, seeing the results a few weeks later, you know, the shoer calling me up and coming by and seeing him here and there, and always Dr. Warner calling, and then they'd stop by and just visit him. In fact, it works so well that, not that I put plates on him, but I had them come out and x-ray my other horse just to see, well, what does his soles look like? Since this horse didn't have any soles, what does his look like? Am I going to be facing that in the future or something? So it actually broadened my medical expertise on this too.
With the use of technology now and the use of the internet, it has become much easier for horse owners to become more educated. I just think that horse owners usually leave that knowledge to their farrier and their veterinarian, but since they are ultimately responsible for their horse's soundness, it's important that they do become educated so that they can make wise decisions, especially when their horses are lame.
There's probably several tiers. You've got specialists who do nothing but feet. Then you've got a subgroup of specialists who do musculoskeletal or lameness work only. And then you've got a bunch of veterinarians who are primarily equine, but do all aspects of equine. And then you have mixed practitioners. So you've got an entire gamut. If you go to the top to the bottom, the knowledge difference is pretty significant. If you're working with a general practitioner, make sure that he has given you options to go to another level if necessary, because there are specialists out there.
Everybody, as well as myself, has some type of opinion about what's going to benefit the animal. I think it is everyone together.
I have to know how to do farrier work, and he's got to be able to work with me so that I can explain to him what I want done. And I can tell you in this particular case is a great example, because I know for a fact that most farriers would have stopped short of taking off the amount of toe that needed to be done, because it's a little bit tentative and scary to keep going backwards. So I would take a radiograph, he would take some more toe off until we got him exactly where we wanted.
So I take it that one's on the right and the left.
This is the left and
yeah.
This is the right here. You got a tremendous amount of hoof wall growth there. So this is going to be worse looking than the original radiographs are. So what we have to do is take
heel off
this, right?
Like the back quarter of it off.
We come to here, that levels that out.
Yeah. You think I had taken off above that?
I would.
Get up in here?
Well, I mean, here's what I'd like to see it do. Is I think all of this is old. I think this is what your new tissue is here.
So
So.
kind of like in there.
That's right.
So probably a ½ inch above it.
Yep. No doubt about it. Working with the farrier in this particular case has been the best thing that happened to this horse, because if you hadn't had somebody working on his foot all the time like that and this diligent, it would have probably not gone the right direction.
Whenever there's a hoof ailment, there should be a team involved in the correction or treatment of that hoof ailment. In my opinion, that team should involve the horse owner, the horse rider, if the rider's different, the horse trainer, the veterinarian, and the farrier. Also, on occasion, an alternative therapist, if there's an alternative therapist being used as well. It definitely should be a team effort.